Hey there, Heather Boyd Wire here. So I had so much fun with the tree ring the other day that I'm going to make a chaos ring with the same size of wire. So this is 22 gauge wire. You can also use 24 gauge wire, and I'm going to work with 3 colors. So I've cut 3 pieces that are about 18 inches long, and we're just going to put it around the ring cone to the size that you want. This ring is not adjustable, and just put it at the size that you want, and you're going to turn them around. We'll do a full turn around, so then it's secure, and then at that point you can start doing your chaos turns. So just take the 3 wires together and then just bring them around, and any kind of configuration that you want, kind of keep twisting them around back and forth. I've cut these wires probably too long, but it's fun to play around with them and see what you can do with them. So we're just going to bring it around, make it relatively abstract for now. And you can also add beads if you want to, but I think you can just like play around with it and have fun with it. And if it's easier, you can actually put it on the ring cone. If it's easier to hold it in place, you can definitely do that. And we're just going to bring it all the way around, keep playing with it, and around to however much wire that you want on there. And then you can also do the same with the other side. You could bring it around, keeping the 3 wires together. That's the key to making it really pretty with the sort of the 3 different colors on there. And we're going to bring it around and around, and you can just keep playing around with it until you're happy with it. And then once you're happy with how it looks, then we're going to twist the ends on either side. So just keep going. You can remove it from the ring cone if you find it really awkward. Whatever's the easiest way for you to hold it. And we're just going to keep going around. May as well use as much wire as we have just to make it really fancy, and just keep going until we run out. So around and around and around. And we're probably going to want to finish one on either side. So we're going to play with that one after. We can just keep going around until we're done. So I would say one more loop here. And what you can do is you can either wind it around that loop here, or if it's easier, you can wind it around the ring base. So probably the best thing to do is to actually take these individually and bring them around, because you might have trouble actually twisting them all together. So what you can do is, if it's easier, you can just take one of these at a time, bring this around, just around here, and then you're going to clip them. So take that, clip it, and then the same thing. So you're going to take one of these wires, bring it around the back, all the way around. As long as it does like a 360 turn around, then it's secured in place. And then this one too, we'll just bring it around, all the way around, do a nice 360 turn, and clip it. And these ends aren't going to pick at you because they're really tucked underneath. So now at this point, before we go any further, let's just check what's happening with all these wires. Push them in a little bit, bring this around, and then what you can do is decide what you want to do with this last little bit. And we're just going to bring it in and just tighten it up a little bit more, just to keep it all sort of centered. And then around here, and then from there you could bring this one up again, around, and then over here, same thing. We'll do another little loop. See, I have no rhyme or reason what I'm doing here. I'm just playing around with it, and just keep going with it until you're happy. Let's bring it over to the other side. And then now that you have all these spirals, Same thing as we did before, just take one at a time, these ends, and wind it around so it does like a full 360 turn underneath, and then you can clip it without fear of it unraveling. So this one too, bring it around, under, 360 turn around, and clip it. Just be careful not to clip your other wires while you're at it. And then this one too, just bring it right around. Follow what we did with the other ones. You might be able to twist them all at the same time, but I find you have more control when you do them individually. So we've got that. And then at that point, you'll see the band is has nothing like going through it, so it hasn't changed. The size hasn't changed. It stayed at the same size. And then you can just bring these in and push them, like almost sculpt them in place, depending on how you want them. And there you have your really funky chaos ring. Super easy to do. So now I'm going to use the 24 gauge wire, the artistic wire. I have 3 different colors. These colors are nice and pastel-y, so I'm just going to do the same thing where I pull a long bit, probably about 18 inches type of thing. It could even be a little more because this is thinner wire. So cut your 3 pieces and then get your ring cone again and around at the center. It doesn't have to be perfectly centered. Just take it and wind it around where your ring is going to be. Now, because these wires are thin, you might opt to do a double wind around for the ring, because otherwise it's going to be a little more fragile. So just go around that a couple of times and then take your ends, tighten them up, and twist it around. So you need like a full double twist around. It kind of is like how we started the tree ring previously. And then we're going to remove it. And then what you can do here is it's going to be easier than with the 22 gauge wire because it's thinner and softer. So now you want to take these and start your chaos wrap. So we're just going to bring it around and around. Start like how you want it around here. Now if you do want to add beads, you can definitely add beads as well. So what we can do is figure out what color bead we want to do. Maybe a little purple. You could just put it on one of the wires, and then what you want to do is take these wires again and wrap them around that bead. Now you don't have to go overboard with the beads. You can just do a few if you want, but they look really, really cute. So you can definitely go around. Even if you want to go around another time with the wires, you can. And we're just going to wind them around. Do almost like a little infinity sign here. Bring it around. And this is, it just is really beautiful with the 3 colors. So you can use any color combination that you like. And I don't want to overkill with the beads, but I will maybe do 3. Like sometimes an odd number is nice. So just decide what you want to do. You can just add them randomly in there. So we're just going to put one here, and then the same thing. We're going to wind these wires around that bead. Just wind it around, and then do another just random chaos swirl around here. So we're going to bring that around like that, and then we want one more bead. So I'm going to just keep going with my wrap a little bit, and then we can do one more bead in there, and then we can just push these in a little bit as well. So we'll put another bead in there. This design is very forgiving because there's really a lot you can do with it, and you can hide your mistakes. Just keep winding and winding for sure. And there really are no mistakes because there's no right or wrong way to do this. But you see, I've incorporated 3 beads, and then I want to be able to like finish off my wires. So we're just good. These ones are getting pretty short, so I'm going to go ahead and finish these off. Now last time I wound them around separately, but because the 24 is thinner, I'm just going to go ahead and bring them around, wind them around underneath your chaos wraps. Just bring them underneath, do a full turn around. Now you want to do, like I said before, a 360 turn around so the ends don't ravel, especially with the thinner wire. So I've gone all the way around, And then we're going to cut it, but be careful not to cut your other wires. So we've cut those off. And then what you can do is just have a look at it and see what you want to do to finish off these wires. So we still have a little bit of extra wire we can work with, and we can just keep winding it around until we're happy with it. So just keep going around, keep doing your spirals, keep swirling them around, and when you'll know when you're finished. One, you'll be out of wire, and two, it'll look nice to your liking. So we're just going to keep going around, do another one around that way. And even if you have more wire, you know, that you can work with, if you feel you're done, just stop. It's fine. So we're going to look at it. It looks pretty interesting. And then from there, you can go ahead and take these wires underneath, right underneath there, bring them around and do your 360 all the way around underneath. Okay, it's going to be hidden, so you're not going to really see it. You could even go around a couple of times if you feel it needs more securing. And then we're going to cut those off. And if you feel you need to, just go ahead and pinch them in a little bit. And then to finish it up, just put it on the ring cone and then sculpt it. That's the idea. So once you have the beginning parts, you just bring it on and you sculpt it around. And you'll see I've only done 3 beads. You could do more if you want. It's really, you know, do it how you like it. In theory, you could even add wire if you want. And then there's your beautiful ring. So if you want to make a ring with a separate chaos bead, we're going to use 24 gauge wire, and I have lavender, seafoam green, and fuchsia here. And for the band, you can use 18 gauge wire, either a contrasting color or one of the same color. So I cut the wires about 18 inches long, and we're going to wrap them around the 18 gauge wire. So we'll start about halfway and just wrap it around. And you can just kind of wrap it the length that you want your bead. And then we're just going to start doing our little chaos weave thing. So we're just going to swirl them around. Now the best thing would be to try to make it more bulky on one side, so the underneath side of the ring isn't going to be too bulky on the finger. So just go ahead and do some winds around, like start to build up your kind of texture around the top of the bead and even the side of the bead, and just do any which way that you like. You know, it doesn't have to go one direction or the other, however you like to do it. And then every now and then you're going to have to pull it around to the back and up to the front, and then just do your kind of swirls at the side and at the top, but not necessarily underneath, because you want the underneath part to be a little more flat. So we're just going to keep going with this. So just bring it around, build it up and around, and then every now and then you're going to want to go around underneath, but just make sure you're building up your circles how you like them. And then just so it grips on there, stick it underneath. And you're really going to have to play around with this to see what looks good. It's very sort of free-form, experimental, and the key is just to not get it too thick underneath the bead. Although it doesn't really matter, you can still deal with it if it's a little bit more bulky underneath. It really is not a big problem at all. You can just adjust the band of your ring to suit that. So just keep going around, just play around with it until you run out of wire. And like this is getting short, so I'm going to bring this around and then I'm going to clip it here. So we'll just clip that one off, and then you want to tuck these ends underneath so they're not sharp, and then just play around with it, like squish it in if you want it more kind of high type of thing. I wouldn't make it too long or it's going to be awkward as a ring, so just keep bringing it around, build it up. It's like a sculpture. It really is. So you're just going to keep going till you run out of wire, and around and around. And it's pretty with the 3 different colors. It really looks nice. And then if you want to bring it down and back up and swirl it around, I'm just kind of going back and forth with no rhyme or reason. And then I'm near the end, so now I have to do that and cut the ends again. So we're just going to cut them off and then tuck them underneath so they're not showing. And now at this point you can play around with it. You can push it in if you like. If you find it hard to push with your fingers, you can get your pliers and really squeeze it in a little bit more. Sometimes it's hard to do with your fingers, but you can squeeze it in like that. So we can take this and just push this around, put that around there, and bring these ones to the front, and then bring that one to the front. Make sure it's centered, like push it around a little bit more if it's not quite centered, because you want equal amounts of wire on either side. So this you can push around, and then there you see you have it a little bit centered. So just this ring isn't going to be adjustable. You can make adjustable rings if you want, but just have that sort of in the position that you want, and then remove it from the ring form, and then take this end and just bring it right around on one side. So right around there, keep bringing it around, and then if you need the flat pliers to bring it around a little bit, you can. So just get it in there, and then you can put it back on the ring form, get it in the right position that you want. Just pull this tight if you have to, and push these ends in again. If your bead is too wide, just push it in a little bit more, and then wind it on this side. So just bring it around, take that, bring it around and around and around, and then we want to cut this. It's better to cut it sort of at the top, then it's not going to be scratchy underneath. Give it a little pinch again, and then you can just put it back on your ring form, and there you have your chaos bead on there, and then you can still mold it in shape if you need to. So thanks so much for watching the video. Give it a big thumbs up if you liked it. Be sure to subscribe to my channel for lots more wire art and jewelry making videos. Hit the notification bell to be notified when I go live and when I post new videos. And if you'd like to share photos of your wire work, be sure to join the Wire Art and Jewelry Makers Club on Facebook. And also, if you want to check out my wire work on Etsy, my husband and I specialize in custom wire, wedding cake toppers, and funky jewelry. I do have a mailing list, so if you'd like to join my mailing list, I'll link it up below, and I'll send you my Wire Art Essentials ebook. And brand new, I have a new art channel called Heather Boyd Art. So if you're interested in mixed media, watercolor, inks, drawing, all kinds of things where I combine wire with art, be sure to check out my new channel. I'll link it up below as well. So thanks again for watching, and we'll see you the next time.